Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
And I'm Kyle.
We're the fucking Morning Throners. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're the Morning Throners. If you're not following us on our Discord, you're missing out because we're pretty funny, and you're missing all our content.
And that's where we post our extra links for the podcast, maps and stuff. I don't think there's any maps for this one, but
yeah. Glow, hit us with last time.
And last time on Bran 3, our boy Bran is hanging out at Winterfell. All the lords and ladies from the north are coming and hanging out, paying liege or paying their homage to Winterfell. You know, they're talking about stupid stuff on what's going on in each house. I don't feel like going into every single house.
It's okay.
But at the last second, Mira and jraijin from the Crannogmen come.
House Reed of
House Reed.
Mudman.
Greywater.
Greywater Watch. Yep.
Greywater Watch show up, and then
Dun dun dun. Wolf
and
Dream.
At the end, Mira and jraijin Reed come from Greywater Watch, and as they go on, it ends with Bran sleeping, and he has a dream of seeing jraijin and Mira in the Godswood, and bum bum bum.
And jraijin touches
We
him.
get a little bit further into this, more in depth in this episode. Let's go.
Let's get it.
You still missed the part where they're going to get bit, because like that's how the chapter starts. It's like trying to make you think, oh man,
Yeah, they're still it's
here
picking
they
up right at
are
the same
fighting
spot
for their
Yeah.
life.
But it's not. It's a few days later or
Yeah.
something.
They're just playing.
Yeah, I
around.
know.
Yeah, it's a couple days.
But that was the
Kyle.
point, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Whether it's the same day or not, like they're back into some type of deal with the wolves, like an actual deal, not a play deal, which is what it turns out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle. What do you think overall? Overall thoughts?
I mean, it's good to finally have somebody that's going to be able to help Bran understand what's going on. I think here.
You believe in the magic.
I mean, obviously, like you're getting
you
Bran's
believe
inside
in
thoughts here, and he's
magic?
pretty much like just afraid to admit to it. Is really the whole chapter.
He's had OSHA the whole time.
She doesn't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, but she's kind of been like borderline
Yeah.
there.
I don't know. I mean, OSHA's been doing some looking at the trees stuff.
Well, I was just saying, here's a dude that claims to see and experience at least similar things.
Oh yeah, magic stuff.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean, he even said, like, we'll get to it, obviously, but comparatives in the dream. But
But Lewin's got a
We-
PhD in magic. We find out at the end of the
He
chapter.
does.
And he says no bullshit.
nope. So we come in right into the chapter, and kind of like Kyle referenced, they were fighting or scared to get bit, and now we have Mira scared to get bit now,
Sparring with Summer.
sparring with Summer,
Yep.
and it turns out to be like a playful kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like a tie kind of.
Summer jumps on Mira but gets snared in the net, which is pretty. I mean, that's a pretty wild net. I mean, obviously, I've seen like gladiators fight with what Mira's holding,
Yeah.
and that's just like a
She's
crazy
like,
move.
She's like a
Like
16-year-old
if you're
girl,
good with
first off.
if you're good with the net and like you can trip them and shit with the like, it's a wild thing to have.
It's definitely
a
good
fucking
against
net.
the wolves.
Captures a wild wolf, not wild, but like a ferocious wolf with a
Yeah.
fucking net.
A bigger than wolf, right? I mean,
It's effective against wolves. Is it as effective against people though? I feel like a net and
for
a spear
sure,
wouldn't be
dude.
effective against me.
Gladiators kept themselves alive by fighting
I
with
would
spear
destroy
and net.
anybody with a spear and a net.
I don't know.
Haven't you seen like those net guns that the cops are like developing?
That's different. Those are like designed to fan it out. It's hard to do that.
If you're
Well,
good
it's the
at
same
it,
kinda
that's
deal.
what you do. You throw it like that, and then it
Because
wraps
it's got like
around
them
hard
somebody.
parts on, like heavy parts on the ends, right on the outside.
This
to,
is
like,
gonna
weigh
have
out.
stuff that can trip you up for sure. But we're spending too much time on the net. It's a good net. Obviously,
No, but it's
Mira
a sick
can
net.
use it.
It's worth to talk about, okay?
Bran's definitely a little upset when he realizes Summer lost.
Yeah, he says she won. Jojin's like, nah, look at Summer. And Summer's like all caught in the net. Mira goes, jumps on him. They roll around laughing. She finally lets him out because Summer wasn't having it. And then Bran calls Summer to him, and then he goes through for a little ride through the woods. He grabs Summer around the neck as he runs by and pulls Bran around in a few circles, I guess. Right? They're
Didn't he
chilling
just, like,
right.
They
drag
just go
him around?
tumbling and rolling around.
They're chilling right
so
at the
they
bottom of
ride.
the weirwood tree the whole time, right?
Yeah. There was a little mention of like maybe she thought Summer was angry while they were fighting, but like, oh no, she's fine. Like Bran,
I think to like what
Bran's
Kyle's
like, she
saying,
loves me.
it was more just like to try and make, at least during the mirror fight, to like make it seem like it was like actually dangerous for a little bit
yeah.
at the beginning.
I mean, well, he does get dangerous here in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's
it's kind of like a switch. Like if Bran wants him to be happy, he's
well, because Bran keeps saying,
Well, that's
"Oh,
what
they'll
Jojen
never hurt you.
says.
Don't worry,
Happy.
they'll never hurt you." He's always. They even say it right here, like Summer's like, doesn't the wolf ever get
They know
angry
I
with
like
you?
you.
And Summer's like, no.
Yeah.
He never does. Like sometimes he'll rip my clothes, but he never draws my blood.
And we're
And
just
he's like,
playing
"That's
around.
just
Like even
your
like he
blood,
snaps
though."
at. Yeah.
Yeah, and Summer's like, no, that's all my friends. Because like listen, like
Yeah.
he
It's
knows I
not
like
Summer.
you.
It's Bran. You keep saying Summer.
What do you mean? Me or Jeff?
You keep saying Summer's like, and then
Oh.
you say words.
Brand's like about Summer. Brand's saying that about Summer.
Well, Bran has a little Summer in him, and Summer has a little Bran in him. So they're one and the same, dude.
Jojo says that later. Yeah.
We do get a quote from Bran. Then he says, "Mira is safe because Bran likes her." So even like Bran's
likes
even
her.
like giving into the connection a little bit. Like, how does he know who he likes and who he doesn't? That's
Well, he definitely knows he likes these guys better than the Walters. He says that in a little
for
bit.
sure.
But before that, he talks about how Mira and
Who
Jojen
doesn't?
stayed after everybody else left.
Yeah.
Right, like all the other lords left, and we get into some of what happened after when some of them left later.
And-
but like these guys stayed,
And
They
to
know
be their
so
friends, right? To be their friends for
yeah.
like a.
And we find
They
out,
don't plan on leaving anytime soon.
yeah, we find out later they were sent by their dad for more,
Hmm.
seemingly for more than just the feast. But who knows?
Yeah.
Well, they heard about Bran. I'm sure.
Exactly. Well, Jojen had this dream about Bran, told his dad, and his dad's like, "Yeah, go." At least that's
We're
what
getting
Jojen
too
said.
far ahead.
Yeah, we're jumping.
No, yeah, we kind of are. So they are there long enough to have one. Jojen has a nickname from Old Nan,
Little grandfather.
and Mira reminds him of Arya.
Exactly. Yeah, this is two next to little things. Yep. Little grandfather and Arya Stark because she likes to get dirty, and basically she's just like a tomboy, like Arya. She likes to run and fight, and she can do it all just as good as everybody else.
But we also hear some things about Greywater that you already talked about them last time, but like it moves around.
Yeah.
They don't have knights. They don't have mastered arms.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody.
Yeah, so
No
that
maesters.
that's what the conversation is. Bran's like, "Hey, how'd you learn how to fight with this net? Did your master of arms teach you?"
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh no, my dad did. We don't have any of that stuff that Kyle just mentioned."
And I didn't know this. Krannig, the word, if you just Google it, it just means like man-made island.
Oh,
It's like
really?
man-made floating island. Yeah. So like the Krannig men are just like people who live on like houses that they build on like rafts, basically.
Yeah. It
And I
just
guess
reminds me
including
of
their
like
whole
the
castle.
bayou. It
Yeah, they
reminds me of
basically exactly
New
they like
Orleans.
live on like the way I picture it now
Houseboat.
is like a bunch
A
of
houseboat,
houseboats. Pretty much, yeah.
Waterworld.
Maybe like large ones because if they're Krannig,
Yeah.
then it's like man-made island, floating island, not just like a
You ever
raft.
saw Waterworld, Nelson?
I've
I've
seen
never seen
part
that.
of it, I think.
I thought you were talking about like the place you go with kids.
I was like, you mean the
No,
one down the
fucking
street from
movie.
where
Waterworld.
No, it's like an old.
It's like, how does
movie.
Kyle know
It's like an
about
old
that?
action
You live
movie.
too far away for that.
It's an old action
Uh,
movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we said enemies
It's
can't
terrible,
find it,
but it's good.
Yeah,
but ravens can't find it either. Like, are they just
Well, it's
like?
moving.
yeah, it's moving.
Are they in
It's
like?
huge.
Sure, I get it, but like, how are they getting their news? Do they send like a news guy out? Like, hey,
Their fucking son
They
can
don't
see the
get their
future.
news. Yeah,
That's
dude,
true.
what are you talking about?
all right,
helps.
say it's 200 years ago, and they didn't have
before
Jojen
Jojo
there.
was born. Yeah.
Do they run out and grab a newspaper and run back?
Well, they talk about that, right? Like, doesn't he say like, don't you? Maybe it's just when they're talking about like, oh, we don't have this, or this. But like, I thought at one point they're like, don't you know this news? And he's like, no, we don't know that. Remember, we don't have ravens. But maybe that doesn't happen.
not in
Maybe
this
they
chapter.
just bring up that they don't have ravens.
yeah.
They said ravens can't find Greywater
Yeah.
Watch no more than our enemies
Mhm.
because it moves.
Well, and
So
because of that, they don't even have
perfect.
a maester, right?
Yep.
They don't have
Yeah.
no maester, no master at arms,
Yep.
no Bran loves it. Bran loves it. Wants to go.
Yeah,
Bran can't
exactly.
wait.
He's like, I
Takes
want
me
to
out.
come when the
Can I
war's
check
over.
out this?
Like right fucking now,
Yeah.
too.
Let me check out this spot, bro.
Well, he at first thinks like after the war, but Jojen's like, yeah, let's go now. And he's like, you know what? Once Roderick gets back, maybe. Because if I ask Mom, she won't say yes. But Roderick, and by Mom,
You
by
call
Mom I
him
mean Lewin.
Lewin?
What's Roderick doing right now?
Well, he's got to deal with the Lady Hornwood stuff because that all kind of unfolded immediately after she left.
Just everything they were worried about just happened
Let's get a
immediately.
Lady Hornwood refresher. What's up with Lady Hornwood? Who's this lady?
Her husband's
She's
dead.
recently widowed.
Yep.
Super nice.
No sons.
gold,
Her son was also
castle.
killed. Yep. In the Whispering Wood.
They were going to announce one of her nephews to become a Hornwood.
Basically,
There-
everybody at the
there was
Harvest
a bunch
Feast.
of different options for who she
that
would
was,
either
like, the
wed
most
or who would become
liked-
the heir.
Everybody at the Harvest
Yeah.
Feast basically wanted somehow to get the claim by marrying her, sending a ward over or something. Also, she only brought 6 men.
Oh, Hornwood wanted to bang Roderick.
Roderick.
Didn't she?
Roger
Yeah,
did. We also
that's why
kind of
he's
brought this
going
up.
east.
We also kind of only brought this up earlier. She only brought 6 men when she did come to like the Winterfell feast. Like a lot of people brought like 100 or something. She brought 6. So
Yeah.
no wonder what we find out happens to her. Like anybody could have done it. Like a band of brigands could have done it. You don't have to be like a lord of something to do it, even though he's
Do you
not a
think they
lord,
even
but-
really fought it? They were probably like, all right,
The
fuck
wild
it.
hares could have done it.
There's 6 guys. I mean, yeah, anybody could have. Wild hair could have done it, exactly. So Kyle, go ahead, what happens? We're kind of skirting around a little
She
bit.
gets grabbed up by Roos's bastard. He
Mary-
marries her
Marries her immediately.
that same night.
Yep.
I'm sure it was consensual.
And then while that's going on, though, Manderley shows up at her house and just takes it.
Yep. So that the Boltons
That's the big
can't.
fat guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big fat
Yeah.
guy.
The guy eating all the fucking
guy.
He,
seafood.
his land's neighbor, her land's. Yeah. So he takes
Yeah,
it.
but he shows up
Yeah.
and he takes it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Roderick's like, gotta go out there just to sort these assholes
Exactly,
out.
sort everything
He's
out.
like, I had enough of this
He's
shit.
pissed at both of them.
And he's
Yep.
headed out there.
Manderley,
That's really all we hear about it.
kind of, it sounds like he did it for good intention. Like, oh,
But
I'm
he
doing
also
it
wanted
so
to take control.
they can't steal
Kind
it.
of. I mean, he's trying to expand
But
his own territory.
he wants it to. Well, he
Yeah.
wants his like
Win-win.
nephew there, right?
Yeah, he's
or
saying
his,
he's
his
presenting
somebody.
it as a win-win for sure.
Don't you like me more than him?
Well, and he's trying to keep Bolton out, too. I mean,
Yeah.
the Boltons seem pretty fucked up, right?
Yeah.
They're the
Especially the
flayed, they're the
bastard.
flayed men. I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
take that sigil, you must be a psycho.
Like how different that look.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
That was the point.
I spelled it out.
Yeah.
I spelled it out.
So Jojen's like, yeah, man, it'd be good if you left Winterfell. You should get out and see the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do
Like,
you
sooner
wanna go?
better than later too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
but
get
when
you
Roger
moving.
comes back, but Mr. Lewin would never let me go. He doesn't believe in all this hullabaloo.
This is where Mir drops the bomb. It's like my brother's got green sight.
Big old fake bomb because magic doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what Lewin says. My brother's got green sight. He drinks things that haven't happened, and sometimes they do.
Sometimes. So what are like if you're gonna say that you're magical, you can't say sometimes. Like you gotta say all of your green dreams work. Like
That's when
sometimes.
That's what
Jojen's
Jojen
like, yo,
says,
fuck
yeah.
off.
There is no sometimes. Is
All
what
the
Jojen
time.
says.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, like, is it every night? Because I think somewhere along the way, yeah, my brother dreams his other boys
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And
Well,
those dreams might mean anything,
But the green dreams,
yeah.
dreams are different.
So it's like somehow
he can
that's
tell.
kind of
Somehow he
He
can
can
tell.
tell, which
Yeah.
it might be bullshit. Like, all right, it was a green dream. Like, how does it? Is it green
It's
and
green.
a green tinted color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fucking raven screaming at him the whole time is probably
It's a 300
Hey,
ravens
it's
in it,
green.
yeah.
This is a green one.
Yeah.
Crowd,
Pay
it's
attention.
green.
Yeah, pay attention.
fly or die.
Jojen wants to know what Bran's been dreaming about.
Yeah, Bran
That's
asks about
kinda-
the future, and Jojen's like, only if you tell me about your secrets first, like about your dreams first. And Bran doesn't
I
want to do
don't-
it.
I don't dream.
Brain gets skittish right away.
Well, he tries to make up an excuse like, "Oh no, they give me like sleeping medicine, right?"
Well, he
Basically,
thinks of the Golden Man
Yeah.
and the Three-Eyed Raven, but yeah, then he's like, no, yeah,
Yeah.
they knocked me out.
I don't dream anymore.
Jojen's like, do the dreams work? He's like, or do the draughts work? He's like, yeah. And Mira's like, bullshit, calling bullshit on that one.
We hear
Everyone
you
knows you
screaming.
scream. They talk about it. The guards talk about it. The ladies talk about it. Everybody knows you scream. Wake up screaming.
All the maids running around. are
Which like
talking
we
about
haven't
it.
really
you
heard
so
this before.
much,
Like we know that
Bran.
Bran has like weird dreams, so like we haven't heard that he like wakes up screaming to the point where everyone in
I
the
thought we
castle
knew he
knows
was,
about
like-
it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not to that extent, but I thought we knew that he was like freaking out at night. And that was why, like, Lewin made him drink this stuff. Because
Well, he definitely didn't like his dreams. Yeah, he was like trying to get rid of them. I guess I didn't realize, and even maybe until this reread, that he's like waking everybody up. I think they might have even mentioned it once or twice before, but like
I mean, he's in like
the
a pretty
Walders or
tall
something.
tower. I'm sure it
I mean,
echoes
he
out.
could just wake up the part of the castle, enough of the
Yeah.
castle that they talk to other people.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wakes
Yeah.
up Hodor. Hodor tells everyone.
Tell us what frightens you so much.
A Hodor, Hodor. Hodor, Hodor, Hodor.
So yeah, so anyway, they keep pushing on him, right? And he keeps going, I don't want to. They're my dreams. You can't have them.
Well, then Jojen goes into detail about one of his
Yeah,
own
his
dreams.
Well,
that
no,
he
so
had.
then Mira, who Bran has a crush on, right?
kinda.
She kind of starts
Seemingly.
sweet talking him a little bit. She's like, trying to ease the pain and like get it out of him here, like, oh, he does it too, but sometimes he has these different dreams.
Yeah.
And like it's nothing to be scared of.
It's
And
almost
then-
just because you have some normal dreams doesn't mean that you don't have some special dreams. It's kind of what she's trying to tell Bran
and,
here.
and I mean, she's like trying to validate him, I think, at the same time too, and like tell him to accept them rather than be afraid of them.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jojen
and
gets into
boom,
his dream.
Jojen
well.
has one.
Yeah.
Boom. Winged
Blast
wolf,
him.
chained down with stone chains. With a crow pecking at him, trying to break the chains, but it's not working.
Yep, trying to break the chain. It's not working.
And then Bran's like, is it a three-eyed crow?
Jojen's like, yup.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately
dude.
spells it
I know.
D.
Yeah, it's like very open-handed. Summer like looks right up at Jojen immediately too. Once Jojen like says it's a three-eyed crow.
She progressively, or he, Summer's a he, which Summer. It sounds kind of like a
Girl's
dog,
name,
but
No.
just I know a couple Summers.
Shaggy Dog doesn't.
Nah,
No
Shaggy
one
Dog's
Summer.
a beast.
That's a beast.
She's a tomboy,
I think I just
so-
know one. No, you know one from college.
I know Summer from
Yeah,
college.
she's a tomboy.
She's no
She was good at
tomboy.
basketball.
She was good at basketball.
Summer's Morty's sister, right?
Summer is Morty's sister.
Really? In Rick and
Where are my
Morty?
balls, Summer?
Summer gets more and more like egged on a little bit, I guess I would say.
He just seems
kinda-
to be reacting very similar to Bran.
For sure. Yeah, it's Bran's emotion.
As soon as they said three-eyed crow, he like looks up. Like Bran's like, oh shit, and Summer's also kind of
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
shit, yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? Like, Bran completely spilled his hand here, too, though. Like, he should have been like, what kind of crow was it? Or, like, instead, he was it three-eyed crow with 6 feathers on its right wing? And, oh, yeah, exactly that, you know?
With the gray streak on the left side?
Yeah,
He's got
exactly.
no poker face on this, on faking that he doesn't have a
He's
dream.
9.
Kind of like
I
what
get
we were
it,
saying.
but-
How
He
does
is not.
Jojen know he's having green dreams? If this three-eyed crow is some sort of like indicator of these special dreams, and that's what Bran is admitting to having in common, then not only is he admitting like, oh, here's something I have in my dreams, but like, oh, I also have like the unique thing in my dreams too. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. He's completely dumped his whole. Like, I mean, everything he was trying to hold back, he has essentially given.
kind
out
of, yeah.
With one sentence.
Yeah.
So Jojen tells him about the first time the three-eyed crow came to Jojen in his dreams, and it was when he had almost died of like gray water fever, which I guess is just some like local disease they have at gray water, and that's when the
I
three-eyed
haven't heard of that one before.
that's when the three-eyed crow came to him for the first time.
And Bran is what Bran's like, oh, wait, it came to me when I fell and told me I had to wake. And if I didn't wake and fly, I had to fly.
Yeah,
And if I didn't fly, I'd die. And I woke up. And he's still sitting, though. He's not flying yet.
yeah, he's pissed.
That's what he
He's
said,
pissed
but
because
I
I
couldn't
can't
fly
fly.
after
Yeah,
all.
I was broken. I was like the opposite of being able to fly. I couldn't even walk. I had regressed from where I was before the dream. Because to him, the dream is the same as the fall, right?
The fucking crow lied to me.
Yeah, basically.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And Mir's like, well, you can fly if you want. And he's like, Jojen's like, yeah, you're the winged wolf. Get it? Winged, like flying, and you're a wolf. Get it? You're a Stark. He's like, I think the crow sent me to break your chains, or like him and me, or collectively, or what. I don't know who. I don't know which one actually says that. And Bran's like, well, let's go to the crow if he's at Greywater. Just take me back there. And he's like, the crow's not out with Greywater. It's in the north. He's like, oh, at the wall.
North of the wall.
Oh fuck! I heard bad things from
You're
O'Shea
not
about
seeing
that.
brother. You're not seeing brother Johnny.
Well, John's north of the wall, though.
That's
right?
true. John isn't at the wall.
They don't know
I don't know
that,
that,
though.
though.
Maybe Lewin does. Maybe they sent word to Winterfell
You
that they
think
were going
Jojen
north.
doesn't?
Jojen, yeah,
Jojen
true.
probably does. You probably had a dream about it.
If he really does have
Of
magic.
a white wolf going north of the wall.
I'm just kidding. I don't think he's all knowing.
I think he is.
I think that's one thing that's interesting is that at least that Jojen says that their father sent them because of the dream. It's like, do we know?
Oh, yeah, the father definitely believes him.
Do we know
100%.
any other character, at least that we've like seen or interacted with, like major POV or minor, like that POV talks to, that if a kid came up and was like a 12-year-old kid and was like, yo, I had this dream, that they would like act on it, like take a pretty big action because of that, a kid telling them about the dream. Like Cersei, if Joffrey came up and told him about a dream, would she give a fuck? Like, would Ned have given
No.
a fuck?
Cersei might if Joffrey was like being a bitch and like, and it didn't impact her plans in any way,
Yeah.
but it shut him up. She would probably let him go.
It just seems like most people
Well,
we've
Ned
seen.
took John's advice about the 6 wolves. Or
No,
5
yeah, I
wolves.
think you're 100% correct though, Nelson. Like, I think that has something to do with just the dad at Greywater or whatever here. I don't know how they're connected to the children of some way, but it seems like they're definitely connected to the land here and like and understanding, or at least I'm gonna say like indigenous American, like like they believe in this higher connection to.
They got old
to-
school blood or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could be completely off on their history, but that's how. And I mean, we've only read 2 chapters about them, not even.
Yeah.
I mean, now learning that they're kind of disconnected from the outside world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like imagine a family that didn't have television,
Amish.
and the Amish, right? So like they're gonna be
badasses. Amish are badass.
Well-
There's a bunch of Amish where I go hunting. They're all badasses, dude.
You know what's funny about the Amish?
The only Amish I've met, they're all dickheads.
Amish
You know what's
get
funny
shit
about the
done,
Amish?
bro.
They can't
They're
play.
dickheads.
Like the only sport they end up playing is softball, like competitive softball, and they
You've
show up
never
at
seen them
these.
playing
No,
softball?
I play at these state tournaments, and they show up with like 13-year-olds and playing in like the grown men division, and they like do
Dominate.
very well.
Yeah.
Like that's all they
So-
play is softball.
Whenever you drive through any of the Amish country on like Sunday or whatever, or maybe not Sunday, it's Saturday or whatever, but they're all just out there playing softball.
I'm just saying,
they're full garb.
When they like want to do something, they get shit done. Like they'll build a barn in like a day. They'll like plow like a field and like plant it in like a day.
Yeah, and they don't pay taxes.
Like I'm sitting out there in a deer stand overlooking a field, like waiting for deer, and I'm sitting there, and over like the course of 3 hours, I just see them like get more done than I could do in 2 weeks. I was like,
It's
holy
because they have
fuck.
100 kids
Yeah.
for the reason of
There's a lot of
making money.
kids. There's just a lot of people running around, but I don't know, dude. They're
All right, let's pivot. Let's pivot back. So, yeah, they definitely are probably more attuned to the land. I could
Yeah.
feel that, and the old way.
Or at least believing in this kind of stuff and,
Mhm.
and putting maybe reverence into it is the better term than believing in it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, man. You maybe he's been right before, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, was that his like first green dream?
It's like if what
I
are you
don't
saying?
think
That?
so.
No, because he said the
Oh,
Raven
maybe
came
not.
to him the first time. I guess I don't know if that means it's a green dream, but he said the Raven came to him the first time when he had his fever.
Oh, sorry, I misread that.
But Bran asked like how to break the chains, and Joden's like, you got to open your third eye, which I think we got into a long discussion about like what that means in the first book at some point. I think in a Bran chapter.
Yeah,
2.
we did. And I was right.
What does that mean? What'd you say?
It's like your spiritual eye and seeing beyond.
It's your
Yeah.
sci-fi eye,
And Nelson never heard of a third eye before.
huh? There's like, I feel like there's different meanings for it.
For a third eye,
We talked about this in the first podcast. So I don't want to
you're
go back
whispering.
over it.
You're whispering.
That's
eye.
a different
You're
thing.
whispering.
Nelson's looked at a bunch
That's a
of
different
one-eyed
thing.
snakes.
That's
Nelson has a
different thing, too.
whispering eye.
That's no, those are all different things. Joden tells me he's giving him this third eye, but Bran won't open it.
Yeah,
Because like I said, Bran is like in complete denial and at least very afraid of these dreams.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like what's happening, I think. It's too vivid for him, and that's why he's slamming his eye shut.
I mean,
Yeah,
wasn't
exactly.
this crow like pecking at his forehead?
Yeah,
like that
in a
can't feel
previous
good.
chapter, yeah.
That
trying
can't
to
feel
open
good.
his
In a
third
dream,
eye?
yeah. He had a slow, soft way of speaking.
With 2 eyes, you see my face. With 3, you could see my heart. With 2, you can see that oak tree there. With 3, you could see the acorn the oak grew from and the stump that it will one day become. With 2, you see no farther than your walls. With 3, you would gaze south to the summer sea and north beyond the wall.
Summer got to his feet.
I don't need to see so far.
Bran made a nervous smile.
I'm tired of talking about crows. Let's talk about wolves or lizard lions. Have you ever hunted one, Mira? We don't have them here.
Mira plucked up her frog spear out of the bushes.
They live in water, in slow streams and deep swamps.
Her brother interrupted,
Did you dream of a lizard lion?
No,
said
I
Bran.
told you. I don't want.
Did you dream of a wolf?
He was making Bran angry.
I don't have to tell you my dreams. I'm the prince. I'm the Stark in Winterfell.
Was it summer?
You be quiet.
The night of the harvest feast, you dreamed you were summer in the Godswood, didn't you?
Stop it.
Bran shouted. Summer slid towards the weirwood, with his white teeth bared. Jojen Reed took no mind.
When I touched summer, I felt you in him, just as you are in him now.
You couldn't have. I was in bed. I was sleeping.
You were in the Godswood, all in gray.
It was only a bad dream.
Jojen stood.
I felt you. I felt you fall. Is that what scares you, the falling?
The falling, Bran thought, and the golden man, the queen's brother. He scares me too, but mostly the falling. He did not say it, though. How could he? He had not been able to tell Sir Roderick or Maester Lewin, and he could not tell the Reeds either. If he didn't talk about it, maybe he would forget. He had never wanted to remember. It might not even be a true remembering. All right, that's where I have it stopping. So first off, what's Jojen tell him that he's going to be able to do if he can open his third eye? Some crazy shit.
See the past, see the
See
future.
everywhere.
Yeah.
With 2, you can see my face. With 3, you can see my heart. With 2, you can see the oak tree. With 3, you can see the acorn that grew from and the stump it will become. With 2, you can see no further than the walls. With 3, you can gaze on the summer sea and the north beyond the wall. Just look at everything, anywhere, anytime. It basically is what he's saying.
That's what
You
I mean.
become connected
Is that
to this.
Sounds like what
Yeah.
he's saying to me.
is he overselling?
It doesn't sound like that's what he can do.
Right.
It sounds like he can just. get
Sounds like he
dreams.
just dreams.
Yeah.
He
But-
just dreams the
but I
dreams
think-
keeps on dreaming.
think his dreams, like, they don't, like, he saw what was happening in Winterfell, he thought.
For sure, but like if he wanted
Right?
to see like what's going on with Danny, could he just be like, let's go to sleep and see what's going on in Karth? Like, I don't think so.
Does he know Danny?
He didn't know Bran.
You think they don't know Bran?
I don't think he had met Bran before the Winter Feast. And they said that.
I mean, they don't know the Starks.
Let him know who he was.
They
No
know
of them,
Starks.
but no pictures probably.
That's why they knew it was a Stark with the winged wolf.
Sure, Robert or Joffrey
Triple guy.
Baratheon. Could he have gone to bed and be like, wow, let's see what's going on with Joffrey tonight? Just go to sleep and just like see that.
I think it's like these dire situations that need him or something that he has to be involved in, maybe.
Which is like what I got too, but it's not. See, it doesn't match up with what he says. To me, what he says, like you can just like do it whenever, kind of however, see whenever, whatever you want. But what he's getting is just like snippets that
to me, that doesn't
he
seem like
doesn't really
whatever you
control.
want.
He's like, with 2 you can see my face, with 3
this
you can
is
see
what
my
he's
heart.
saying Bran can do, not what Jojen can do.
But Jojen's, I think there's a lot of implication that's the same thing or similar. Like, hey, I have this cool power. You have these weird dreams that are similar to my dreams.
I mean, I think he's just saying that like you can see these things. I don't think he's saying you can do it whenever you want.
Gotcha, okay.
I'm not.
It's
not
just
worth
it's
it.
just possible with the dreams. Yeah, I mean we don't
Let's
know.
fight over
We don't know. To try and fight over it, we'll be running around in circles.
Next point of the quote: lizard lion. What's a lizard lion?
Game of Thrones.
Alligator.
Alligator. I think alligator.
Or it could be a crocodile.
People think like
I was
Komodo
thinking
dragon.
like maybe one of those with the manes.
Isn't that
like
a Komodo
the,
dragon?
No.
No, they just look like big old lizards.
Yep.
I always thought alligator too, but I thought that was an argument for a different
Crested
thing.
something or other.
That thing's
Yeah.
from Jurassic Park we were talking about, Jeff. The big thing with the
Yeah,
fan on it.
there's still a
They're in real life.
lizard that has that. You fucking nut.
The
No,
Jesus
the
lizard, the one
lion
that
is
runs
definitely
across
an
the water.
alligator.
The one that shoots the
Yeah.
acid in the fat guy's face in Jurassic Park.
Gets him killed.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
Exactly.
Um,
In the last
Alright,
part of the
so-
dream,
Poor
Jojen
Nelson.
recaps kind of what Glow recap for us. Jojen's touching Summer and can feel Bran inside and feels Bran fall afterwards, which like Bran then admits like, fuck yeah, that's the thing that I wake up basically screaming about is the falling. And he
Doesn't
also,
admit it.
is this also the first time he like for sure like says like the Queen's brother besides like just like the Golden Man?
I was thinking that when I read through this. Yeah, that like he figured out who the Golden Man is.
Yeah, but he hasn't told any. He also says he hasn't told anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. For I think this is the first time he says that he knows exactly who it is. So yeah, like a lot of stuff comes out in that quote real quick. Even stuff that like we didn't know. Like Bran knows actually who the Golden Man
They're
is.
getting more vivid
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
He's kind of figuring it out maybe. So when Jojen asks if he falls every night, that's when Summer starts getting a little.
Summer don't like that shit.
Yeah, he starts growling.
Starts
Well, 'cause
starts
Bran
growling.
doesn't
yeah.
like
Well,
that
Bran
shit,
doesn't
right?
like it either. He
Yeah.
starts shouting.
Well,
getting
do you
all-
think it's because Bran doesn't like talking about it, or because it brings up like that he's actually scared of it?
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's both. So I think that's why I didn't like talking about it because, like he just said, he was hoping he was going to forget, but like bullshit, like he's having
You
this
ain't
dream more
forgetting.
often than
That's like the most traumatic experience, other than dying, that someone's gone through.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I think that
Or maybe Dany losing her baby, but
Yeah. Some bad
Yeah,
stuff.
he's
But yeah, exactly. Being paralyzed as a little kid isn't great after seeing what you saw. Some like continent ruining shit, right? So yeah, Bran's gone through it. So yeah, Summer starts getting fired up. Mir grabs net and spear, gets like Jojen, get behind me. They get near the weirwood tree. He's like,
Ed, he's not even worried.
they're like yelling, Bran called off. Bran's like, I can't. But
Yeah.
he's also like trying to like
You can. It's you.
He's also like making excuses
it's
all
your
the time,
anger.
right? He's like, Summer's just angry. You made him angry about the dreams.
Anger leads to the dark side.
Exactly. And she's like, get up the tree. And Jojen at one point says, like, this is not the day I die. Shaggy Dog
this
comes
isn't
out.
the day I die.
Shaggy Dog comes out from nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
that's
he's like,
wild.
oh fuck, maybe this is the day.
Yeah, so he starts climbing up.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm going up there.
Bran's like smacking his legs to try and call the dogs off, talking about how his hands stinging, but his legs feel nothing. It's not working though. Mir drops everything.
after Shaggy
I think
Dog
gets
leaves.
up the tree just in time, right before Shaggy Dog almost gets a bite out of Mir's leg. They're chilling up there. Bran's kind of freaking out. He feels like afraid and ashamed. And he's like, oh yeah, Hodor's here. He can fix this. So he calls over Hodor, and Hodor basically comes and saves the day, half naked. They don't explain what that means. He chases the dog away.
It's weird that the dogs like listen, or the wolves listen to
I mean,
him.
he's
Like,
huge.
all right, fuck it, we'll get away.
Yeah.
But they can
Yeah,
run
he's
around. They can
fucking-
run circles around him.
Yeah.
Imagine
but which is kind of what they do for a
Shaq
while, I think.
came
And then
and attacked your dog.
But I think this goes back to kind of Bran's connection with the dog, and he loves Hodor. Hodor's his dude at this point, right?
Yeah.
So they love Hodor too. Yeah.
And he's playing around him a lot. Yeah.
Hodor runs him off. They come down from the tree. Jojen's like, we'll talk again later. Hey, I'll call you. Or you call me. We'll talk.
Yeah. My people.
Hodor has a great time chasing him off.
Hodor just has a great time doing everything.
He's having a good time.
He loves doing everything.
He's half naked, running around with the schlong out.
Muddy.
So Bran's trying to convince himself that he had nothing to do with that. He has no idea why the wolves acted that way, and he even says like maybe Lewin was right to lock him up in here. They're like out of control, which is
crazy because even if he had no connection to him getting angry and screaming at somebody, like that's gonna your dog's gonna start screaming at somebody or change its tone. Like
when everybody starts being loud, the dog starts barking type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Bran takes the Hodor Express up to Lewin's tower. Lewin's turret's one of Bran's favorite spots. It's all
Hodor
messy.
Express.
He takes the Hodor Express. It's all messy. He said the Lewin's clutter makes it comfortable, which is like a contrast to Pycelle, right? Pycelle was
he spends a ton of time there too. He spends like a whole fucking school day there.
Yeah.
Well, several hours.
They're definitely showing Bran, or I keep saying that. George is writing about how Bran's getting stronger and better at being
lifting himself up and shit.
Different, I guess. Yeah, more differently able.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
doing like pull-ups while Hodor grabs a chair.
Yeah. He's
looking like Joe from Family Guy.
Sure, it was kind of ugly to watch, but he did it on his own. He wanted to do it on his own. Now he's holding himself off this sconce on the wall for like a minute until Hodor can figure something out.
Bran doesn't waste much time of bringing up Greensight to Lewin.
Nope, not at all. He basically just thinks to himself that Lewin's basically been really busy ever since Roderick left. And when he comes in, Lewin's like, "You guys are early," and he mentions that kind of like Jeff said, it seems like he spends a lot of time here. A, because he likes it here, but B, because he has a couple hours of some type of school here every day with the phrase and maybe Rickon. I guess Rickon. I think he says Rickon too.
Yeah.
Phrase.
So then he basically immediately says like, "Hey, Jojen says he's got green sight, and I remember you told me the children of Forest got green sight. Keep going. Explain." And Lewin,
tell me what you were going to tell me.
And Lewin's basically like, "All right, yeah, cool. You're kind of right. Some of the children claim to have that power, and they said that they called their wise men green seers."
Well, and he kind of plays it off first as like it's just a different sort of knowledge. So
it's not magic.
Well, that's the next quote actually. He says, Bran says, "Was it magic?" And he's like, "Call it that for want of a better word if you must. At heart, it is really just a different sort of knowledge." Bran asks what it was. Lewin says, "No one really knows, Bran. The children are gone from this world and their wisdom with them. It had to do with the faces in the trees, we think. The first men believed that the green seers could see through the eyes of the weirwoods."
That's why they cut down the trees. The first men fought these children, cut down the trees whenever they were warned with them so they couldn't use them against them. Supposedly, the green seers also could take control of animals, fish, all the
beasts
lots
of the
like
wood.
that.
Animals of the woods.
Yeah.
This kind of goes into what Osha was saying to Bran earlier as well, where she's like, "I can't help Rob down. You can't help Rob down there. The gods can't see him because there's no trees."
Exactly.
Our gods don't go down there. Right?
It's like kind of like actually like a first
memory there, Kyle.
logical explanation of why they even cut down the trees. Like we've always known they were cut down in the south, and we knew there was also like this like war. So it just seems like they're sacrificing.
I kind of assumed.
I mean, it's just kind of like you trash their temple.
It's also
is
like
one thing,
a
but like
change of religion too. Well, there was a change of religion.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I assumed it was at least for that reasoning.
Yeah.
Lewin after that ends up going like, so the Reed boy claims he has this kind of power.
Yeah.
Like to control the animals.
Yeah, well, basically everything, all this like green seer powers.
Scene, and I think we get into like, he has dreams that come true.
Sometimes,
and Lewin's like, well, everybody has dreams that come true. Remember when you dreamed of your dad and he came, your dad in the sept and he ended up being, or the crypt and he ended up being dead.
And Bran's like, well, Rickon had the same exact dream.
Lewin's like, well, you can call that green sight if you want, as long as you just keep in mind that you've also had tens of thousands of dreams that haven't come true. Like, call that one green sight if you want, which I think is like a good way for Lewin to approach. He's like, if you want to call it magic, cool, but just don't get like all high and mighty and think that everything's going to come true. Remember all of the other ones that haven't.
All your stupid dreams.
Yeah, exactly. The you and Mira dreams.
This is
where you wake up and your pecker still doesn't work. We don't know if that's true. We've said it might not.
It's not true. Work. Peckers can work. We just don't know. It's case by case basis.
And then Lewin starts
He's
going
9.
off about his Macer's chain, saying like, "Do you know why we wear these chains?" and blah blah blah. And Bran's saying, "Well, yeah, each chain represents something that you studied because you guys are in service of the realm."
Yep.
And they start going in through different types, like golds for numbers and something.
Yep, numbers.
Sums.
Yeah, nums and
Sums
which
and
is basically
numbers.
math, right? Gold's math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silver's healing. Black steel is ravenry.
Ravenry.
And I just bring that up real quick because in the last Pycelle chapter, or like maybe in one of the Tyrion chapters where he's like eating with Pycelle, he brings up his, it's all like gold and silver, and we said, is that just like because he likes gold and silver, or maybe he's just like a PhD in math and
A
healing
healing accountant.
exactly, which is like, I mean, if it was me, I'd have a gold ass chain. I'm a math guy. You know what I mean?
A healing
Would you
accountant.
just get multiple gold links, or would you just have one link tied?
Nelson's would be
By a
like a
fucking
whole bunch of
string. That's a good
half
question.
links.
Just think about.
He never.
Whole
he
bunch of
never
halves
finished.
he dropped out.
Just think about like every class you took, Jeff. If it's a math one, you get a gold link for it.
Okay, I guess that's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know if that's
So
how
There's
it
no
works,
way it's
but
just one class.
He pulls around and he finds this Valerian steel link, which we find out is the study of the higher mysteries, which only one in every 1,000 maesters have.
100 maesters.
One in every 100.
He's like, because it's kind of a bullshit.
It's like taking
badminton.
it's like taking mythological creatures nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
in
exactly.
college.
Or like taking like one of those Harry Potter classes in college. Like he says it's interesting, but like it's useless. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you going to do with that when you graduate? You know what I mean? Like magic doesn't exist. It's basically what Lewin's saying. So
Interesting thing about Lewin, as he's talking about him studying the higher mysteries, is like, well, like every boy is interested in being a magician or a wizard, and I tried my hand and failed miserably, like everybody else before me. Like,
Yep.
Well, I mean, of
Mages
course, if you're studying magic, you're gonna
yeah,
like see like,
Yeah,
well, does this
say a
actually
spell
work?
or not. You guys
No
want to see
one-
something cool?
No one, especially I guarantee you, no one who has taken a Harry Potter class in college. I guarantee you that people. But most people who have even like probably watched or seen Harry Potter, and at no point have you not like tried to do a little magic. You know what I
Glow.
mean? Or like
Glow,
while you're watching
turn-
Star Wars, you're trying to like force choke,
Hold on,
like
Glow's about to do magic right in front of you. Glow, bring up your iPhone. Do you record with your iPhone? Never mind, don't do
Yes.
it. Nelson, bring up your iPhone, and then get Siri on and say Lumos.
Lumos.
No, it's
Magic.
Whoa.
Bam! You just fucking went light bulb.
There's a way Gandalf does that too. I bet you it would work.
I don't know how he does, but for sure. And he's like, oh, but I failed. And there's mages and warlocks out there, but they're full of shit too.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question. I've been waiting to say this until we got here, but like Lewin, like, did he have this near-death experience that these other two have shared?
There you go. But you think
It's a
if
good
all of
question.
these maesters, one of them probably did. Right? One
I
of
don't
these.
know. It's
he
it's
says
1 in
1,000
1,000
before.
to begin with, and then how often are these crazy near-death experiences like that?
So I was wondering if Lewin just like is saying like a turn of phrase here when he says like 1,000 before and 1,000 after. Lewin's pretty old, but have there been 1,000 maesters that have gone through the Citadel and been and hit this 1 in 100? Right. So if there's been 1,000 that's been 1 in 100,
That's only 10, right?
that means that there's been 10,000 maesters to go through the Citadel after Lewin, which I don't believe.
It's a lot.
So I think it's an expression.
Right, because it's a
so that
post
narrows
that you
the
have till
cooldown even
death,
further
right?
and makes it less likely that these people have had near-death experiences.
I'm saying if it was actually 1,000, though, if you do the math, I don't think it can be actually 1,000 because the math, like I just said, the math doesn't work out.
What
But
I'm saying though is if it's like 10 people have tried this magic, you think one of those 10 people has had a near-death experience?
no, that's what I'm saying. But if it's 1,000, so it depends
Then
on like, what it's
maybe
closer to. Yeah.
it's getting better and better odds for sure.
But like so if you're saying the near-death experience is what makes anybody magic, are you saying everybody who's had a near-death experience is magic in the world?
No, but I think it's like maybe this weird coma. Maybe they both went into a coma of some sort. It definitely had something to do with it, obviously.
Okay.
Because like that's when he's like, that's the first time it happened to me too. Was I almost died from this fever.
I was just gonna say like we can think of like other characters who have had near-death experiences. Like,
Who?
what do you think about them? The one that I was thinking
Edward.
of. The one that I was thinking of was Shireen, just because she's like a kid too, and she had like
Grace.
I don't
Grayscale.
remember Cherie.
Shireen is
It's
Shireen.
Stannis' daughter.
the grayscale girl. Just
Oh,
because
okay.
the Greywater fever for a second when I read that I was like, oh, is that grayscale? And I was like, oh no, that's a different thing. But that's like what Shireen. But they're both.
I mean,
she's like a
we
kid
only
too.
have read about her once.
I know.
So-
I know. So maybe, yeah, she'll be riding dragons.
Is it a
And
direct
she's real good
correlation
friends
that
with this patch face dude who's like,
yeah, creepy.
he had a near death?
Yeah, he had a near death.
Yeah.
I don't think we can
He's real
draw.
weird. And
We
he
can't
has,
draw
like,
a direct correlation
I
to
mean,
near
Ned
death
had a
to
near-death
magic.
experience, and during that time, he was having weird ass dreams.
I was gonna say, and he's having these weird ass dreams about the tower or whatever and all
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
So
The tower.
So near death is good in this world.
As long as you don't actually die.
yeah, well, near
right.
that's the near part. Joe.
True. So Bran leaves right after this conversation. No, so any other?
Well, he does kind of cast doubt on the warlock as well. That's dealing with Danny. I mean, indirectly, he's like,
Indirectly, yeah.
Yeah, Bran says, "What about mages and warlocks in the east?" And he's like, "Well, there's people that say they're mages and warlocks. I had a friend that could pull a flower out of her ear, but he was no more magic than I was." And then there's this another cool quote from Louis. He says, "Oh, to be sure, there's much we don't understand. The years pass in their hundreds and their thousands, and what does any man see but a few summers, a few winters? We look at the mountains and call them eternal, and so they seem. But in the course of time, mountains rise and fall, rivers change their course, stars fall from the sky, and great cities sink beneath the sea. Even gods die, we think. Everything changes. Perhaps magic was once a mighty force in the world, but no longer. What little remains is no more than a wisp of smoke that lingers in the air after a great fire has burned out, and even that is fading. Valyria was the last ember, and Valyria is gone. The dragons are no more, the giants are dead, the children of the forest forgotten with all their lore. No, my prince, Jojen Reed may have had a dream or two that he believes came true, but he does not have the green sight. No living man has that power." So that's basically Lewin's thought on everything, on magic in the glimpse.
well, it's kind of weird that Lewin buys into Osha's giants now. Wasn't he like against that originally?
Well, he says they don't exist.
He
She
said giants
claimed
are
that they
dead.
do exist.
Still,
He says that they
He
don't
says they're
exist
dead.
anymore.
He's just saying
yeah.
Yeah.
like
yeah, he just says
they're
they're dead. I think
the
he
dinosaurs.
knows that they did.
Okay. All right. I
Live at some
forgot. I
point.
guess that was.
You know, I think this might
Well,
be.
I mean, he's talking about the
Kinda
children of the
forgot.
forest. Like, that's magic that he said is now dead. He knows dragons existed. They're dead.
I think
like,
the fact that he's admitting a lot of this stuff is like really good evidence for that it happened at all. Like before, like it seemed like even mention of this stuff in the past was just like stories.
That's what I was trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now what we're saying is like a guy who's actually studied the mysteries isn't saying it was never a thing. He's just saying it's not a thing anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, it might have happened. They could have lasted for a long time, but I mean, even those things eventually go away. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which like kind of to bring up OSHA saying there's still giants in the north. And even in the south, they hadn't seen a direwolf south of the wall in 200 or 300 years before these ones.
Mhm.
So like,
And there's a dragon. There's a dragon or three sucking on
and
some
people keep
teats
saying
down
there's
in
no
cars.
dragons. Yeah, exactly.
doing
So
some weird shit out east.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Bran heads back to his room.
Yep.
It's dusk, turning the night, and Mira's there.
for a booty call.
Little send off. They just start talking a little bit about like what Lewin said to Bran, and he's like, "Oh no, like Lewin's right. My dad trusted Lewin."
Bran does
You know.
apologize on behalf of the wolves, but he does say like, but Jojen was wrong. Like he kind of got what was coming. He shouldn't have been asking about the dreams like that. And he's like, the crow lied to me and Jojen's lying too. And Mir's like, well, maybe Lewin's wrong. You ever think about that? Huh? He's like, no way. Even Ned liked Lewin, like would listen to Lewin. And she's like, I'm sure he listened to him, but like he made up his own mind at the end.
Yeah, his word's not gospel. It's could be anything. Sure, he's smart. Sure, he knows a lot, but he's not always right.
And she's like, hold on, can I tell you about this one other dream that Jojen had about you and the Walder
Your
boys?
fosterling brothers. And he's like, they're not my fucking brothers.
Jeff, you're Mira, right?
You were sitting at supper, but instead of a servant, Maester Lewin brought you your food. He served you the king's cut of the roast, the meat rare and bloody, but with a savory smell that made everyone's mouth water. The meat he served the phrase was old and gray and dead, yet they liked their supper better than you liked yours.
I don't understand.
You will, my brother says. When you do, we'll talk again.
So basically, Bran goes to dinner that night. He's a little scared, but everybody the same thing. There's no roast. It's all pigeon pie. Walter got the same thing he got. Served by servants, not Lewin, right? So he's like, nah, they're wrong. Lewin's right.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
And Bran's kind of happy because basically Lewin, or in the big picture, Jojen was saying like, you need to leave Winterfell soon. So the fact that Jojen's wrong is good because it means he doesn't have to leave. Nothing bad's happening. But he's kind of
Then
disappointed
he's
because if
truly
there's no magic,
broken.
then he's just a crippled boy. Yep. There's no flying, no being
Nothing.
at night, no nothing.
Which
Nothing.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know why he looked at this literally. Like, my dude Jojin just told him this story about a winged wolf being chained down by stone chains, and he's saying it's you in this thing. And then he's like, "Well, I didn't get a fucking piece of meat. So I'm just dreaming."
My pigeon pie was well done tonight.
And everyone enjoyed the pigeon pie the same.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Now we get
Come on, man. He's 9 years
the next
old.
Bran.
Figure it
The
out,
next
pal.
Bran chapter, he's at dinner and he gets rare meat, and he's like, "Oh fuck."
So you think this is going to come out in some other way that's not dinner, Kyle?
So where I'm at here, and I thought about this briefly, so I could be very wrong, but I'm thinking that Bran's piece essentially is, it's either going to be, Rob is pretty much dead and bloody, and he's not cool with that, that's why he's not as happy. Or what my original thought was, I just thought it right now. My original thought was that this is something to do with the Lannisters coming for him, and then the Greyjoys winning over the Freys and teaming up with them, essentially. And that's why they're pumped, because they have some help. They're going to get some power through the Greyjoys. And
They do get a
like I
great.
said,
They do get a gray dinner.
that's why, yeah.
Exactly.
Great
That's the
dinner.
connection there, Jeff. So
Good job, Jeff.
red meat, gray.
yeah, so
steaky meat.
that's why that's my like preliminary. Like I said, it was while I was reading the chapter, and like tried not to think too hard about it, because it seems very cryptic for sure.
Yeah. I think if there is magic, I'm not going to say if there is or not, but if there is, this is one of the magiciest chapters we've had so far, especially outside of some of the Danny
Yeah, I
stuff.
was gonna say, except for the one where there's fucking ghosts in a tent. Like,
Yeah,
so we
that was
know.
crazy.
I mean, we know a little more obviously on that kind of stuff than
Mhm.
Bran and Lewin even does. So, I mean, and I know I talked about this before, I guess, and that kind of makes sense. It kind of explains away some of why my beef with the if there is magic, why does only this one lady know, and why is it like just randomly showing up and stuff? Is because it is kind of a dying art.
Yeah, the way Lewin put it in that quote I read, I thought was cool. He was like, "What that like the smoke that lingers after like
Yeah.
a bonfire."
Yeah, so it's just kind of there, and it's not nearly as strong. It's not as raging. It's not as
Yeah.
useful or
Powerful.
prevalent, but it exists. It's still there. It is
Yep.
something.
Mhm. Cool.
So, I don't know.
All right.
All right. Well, next chapter, Tyrion.
I
Tyrion 7.
I don't know if I finished up my actual thought there. So I think obviously there is some magic that does exist. That's where I'm at on that as well.
I think we've got that through just do the talk of most of the podcast. But
yeah, and
put it on the record.
I think Bran's going to eventually kind of come to that same decision as well, obviously, because these crow dreams aren't going to just go away,
Yep.
So he's going to have no choice.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens
Good shit,
in the next
Kyle.
Bran chapter. And next time, we'll
Sounds
see you
good,
guys
Cal.
on Tyrion 7 or the rest of you guys who are sticking around for the spoiler section. Everyone, join the
Let's
Discord
go.
and like us on whatever platform you're watching on. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next time.
Thanks, Cal.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! See you later, Cal. Great hanging
Bye,
out, bud. We'll
Cal.
see you on the next episode for Tyrion 7. But now, on to the spoiler section of Bran 4. Boys, what are your hot takes?
All right. I don't have a ton. I know Nelson's going to dive into a lot of history and just
She
shit.
thinks.
Okay, let me get a hot take then.
Okay.
Book 5. Jon, stabbed. Boom, 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 boom. People think he doesn't die. Near-death experience. That's when he opens up his third eye. Well, not third eye,
Wow.
but, gets his fucking word powers opened up. That's all I gotta say.
So
Later
you
in
think-
this, hold on.
I would like that. I would like that, Glow. I don't know how much of I'd like him getting Ghost, but
Later
Fair
in this
enough.
book, when John's at the Fist of the First Men, he's sleeping and he has a dream inside of Ghost. Ghost is walking through the woods. It might be when Ghost finds the daggers and stuff. But before that, he sees a weirwood sapling with his brother's face on it.
right.
Doesn't say which
We've
brother it
talked
is,
about this. Didn't
but
we
it's
talk
all-
about this on?
It's in
I
that.
don't remember the Weirwood sapling conversation.
Yeah. Time traveling Bran. Right.
And in
Thanks
that,
for making me watch it.
he's like, I can't see, and he's like, it'll be in the Discord. Check it. I'm gonna bring it up again in a second. The tree basically comes down and touches Ghost in the. He's like, open your third eye, and the tree touches Ghost in the forehead. So a lot of people think that's when John's third eye got open. But that's all from this. Preston Jacobs, you guys know, is my favorite Game of Summer West and Fire YouTuber. He's putting up this series. I don't even think it's over right now. Called Time Traveling Bran. It'll be in our Discord. Jeff watched it.
Fuck.
So Jeff's going to explain it to you.
It's not bad. It's so Time Traveling Bran. The big thing goes
I think
back
Glow's
to
gonna like it too.
The first, I think, hint of a time traveling Bran goes to when he sees Bloodraven for the first time.
So like, the kind of confirmation of it is at the show when he does the Hodor thing.
Hodor.
Right, that is Bran
Hold
from
the
like
door.
the current time.
Well, that's getting
timeline.
into. I think the first like hint. All right, so let's before we say confirmation. The first hint is like he asks Bloodraven if he's the crow, and he's like, "Oh, I used to be a crow."
Talking about Night's Watch.
And we're like, okay, well, who is this three-eyed crow that's visiting me in the dreams? Turns out, time traveling Bran is visiting himself in his dreams as the three-eyed crow.
Exactly. Bran is the three-eyed crow from the future. So like, say Bran at the end of book 5, say Bran's like, oh fuck, I realize I'm the crow. I gotta go send myself all these dreams in the past to make sure that I come here, or else I won't come here. Type thing is basically the thought process on the theory. General thought process.
It sounds like Jojin's getting the three-eyed crow too. So now time traveling Bran is influencing Jojin's dream as well.
Exactly, because
it's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where they have to influence their past selves to do what they need to do.
Kind of, yeah.
So
it kind of like Back to the Future, kind of like all those time traveling.
Before we get into like too many time travel paradoxes, there's a ton. I
don't want to go too far into it. The links are for those videos. There's links for those videos because we're just gonna be stealing what he said. Like, I think it's a great theory. I really like it.
And I don't even. So it is very cool to think of. The other thing is Jon seeing the tree and seeing his brother's face. So now it's Bran being a fucking tree in the future. Future Bran is this tree in Jon's dream.
At the time that Ghost is visited by that tree, Bran is in the crypts of Winterfell, like hiding from all the shit that's going up above, like the Greyjoy, Ramsay, Bolton war shit going on at Winterfell. Bran's hiding down below that, and like the tree's saying like, "Don't be afraid of the dark" and stuff. But in our current Bran timeline, Bran's afraid of the dark. Again, like the video will go.
It's kind of like time traveling Inception, right? Because it's all consciousness stuff. It's not physically being in the past or the future. It's all Inception based thinking.
Yeah, so again, like what the video says is that the way that George gets around, like one of the major paradoxes in time travel is called the grandfather paradox, where say Glow travels back in time and kills his grandfather. What happens then? Glow doesn't exist anymore because his grandfather couldn't have.
So how could he come back in time and kill his grandfather?
So the way that George gets around that is Bran doesn't go back in time and kill his grandfather. Bran, in the current time, takes over somebody's mind in the past tense, say Hodor, and kills his grandfather. At which point, Bran doesn't exist, but doesn't matter because Bran never had to go back in time. Hodor killed the grandfather in the first place. Again, doesn't really make sense, but that's kind of seemingly the way that George gets around it. The video describes it really well. There'll be 3 videos, and I think there's more to come out in the Time Traveling Bran series. First and third one, really recommend. Second one is 100% on Song of Ice and Fire stuff. So basically the first one lays out exactly what Jeff and I kind of just talked about. Second one says, hey, George R. R. Martin has done time travel in 4 other books. Here's how they work in all 4 of them. They're all conscious time travel. So doing the exact same thing where you're not actually going back as a physical person. You're going back and taking over either your own consciousness or somebody else's consciousness, right? But that's like the second video is all about his other works, and then the third video starts to tie it all together. And I think
I never got to the third video either.
Yeah, so like most people probably get bored in the second one. You probably don't even need to watch the second one. He makes some references to it in the third one, but
he's just showing that it's a constant theme in a lot of his
that George thinks about this, and like because he brings up some points in the third one that seem kind of far fetched, but he uses the fact that George has done these things in the past as like proof that it's not that far fetched. But yeah, those will be in the Discord. Definitely check those out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be sure to check them out, Nelson, because you don't share them with me.
I just call him every day. We talk on the phone every day, and you don't call.
I FaceTimed him on Sunday or Monday.
You didn't FaceTime me on Sunday or Monday. I'd have told you about him. All right. I know this isn't in order of the chapter, but I know this quote spoke to me, and I want to read it again.
All right, before you go off on that, real quick, cool time travel show, Dark. It's on Netflix.
Never heard of it.
It's in German. It's really cool. Watch it.
There'll be a link for it in the Discord.
There'll be a link for it in the Discord.
That's on you, Glow. You gotta do that.
All right.
I'll remind you.
Through the course of time, mountains rise and fall, rivers change their course, stars fall from the sky, and great cities sink beneath the sea. Gods even die. There's just too many people that can be tied to these type of things that, like, let's just say, like, the mountains rise and fall. Obviously,
Gregor.
the mountain,
Yeah.
Gregor.
Sir Gregor.
He could rise, he could fall. Maybe
Rivers
he becomes,
is tricky. Skip that one.
Well, what I was thinking of Rivers is the twins. The Rivers changed their course. They're Team Frey right now. They're about to change to Team Lannister.
I was also thinking of like
Oh.
any bastard born in the Riverlands has the last name Rivers.
River.
So, like, any
I was
Rivers
trying to
who
think
switches
if we call it a
Brandon
river.
Rivers. Brandon
yeah,
Rivers.
like I can't think of any, but like anybody like that who switches sides would be
Stars falling from the sky.
Red Comet. Bang.
Red Comet.
Dane.
Star
Because
Dane.
Dane's made out of a fallen star. Or not Dane, fucking Lightbringer.
Dawn.
Lightbringer. Made out of a fallen star.
And
Dawn.
then a great city sinks beneath the sea.
Valyria,
that's-
there's
or-
actually the sunken city of
Or I'm just even thinking of like the
where's the
Greyjoys
stone
taking
man?
over Winterfell or Valyria, right?
Valyria didn't get sunk in water.
I was thinking more metaphorically as the Greyjoys.
Well, where does? Yeah, I like that one. That's actually a good idea or a good thought. What's the one city that Tyrion and
you're thinking of the Sorrows Glow.
where
It's right
Where
over
they
in Stone
where they
Man.
sent all
It's called
the
Sorrows.
mountain.
It's along the Royne. What's
isn't that a city
Tyrion's-
underwater though, or like
Yeah.
partially submerged?
Yeah, they call it the Sorrows now. I forget what it used to be called, but basically there was a big Nymerian war, apparently, where like mages fought dragons and like raised the water level, or dragons just destroyed everything. But yeah, I like what you're saying too, Jeff. Like because Jojen in the next chapter, I think, tells Bran, "I have a dream of the sea coming to Winterfell."
Yeah. Well, I thought doesn't Bran dream of water coming over the walls too?
No, Jojen tells him that 3 men get drowned: Mikken, Alebelly, and Septon Shale. And
When
that-
doesn't Bran have a big dream about like a storm going south?
That was in the first chapter, or the first book. Like when
Yeah.
Cat went
Yeah.
south, he's like dreaming that there was a storm going. Like he thought it was a storm or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought maybe that was coming up, but I thought that was more of a third eye dream. I thought he dreamed of the water coming over the walls, and then he like runs to Lewin.
I think
and
in the
then-
next chapter,
The Greyjoys were
I think
actually
you're
there.
right, Jeff.
I thought he wakes up and like he had that dream, and the Greyjoys like had already climbed the wall.
Oh, maybe like the day it actually happens. Maybe
I think you're right,
something.
Jeff. That
He's
does
having a
sound
dream
familiar.
about something that mirrors the Greyjoys coming over the wall. It might be the water. But yeah, I think in the very next chapter, Jojen tells him. The reason I'm bringing up the next chapter a lot is because at the end of this chapter, he tells him like Jojen has this dream. You get this like
about
really good
the
meat,
meat.
You don't like it. And
Yeah,
he gets
what-
bad meat.
I don't
what
remember
is
that.
I
What's
forget
going
what
on
it
here?
is. You know, what did they get?
Basically, we kind of already know it. Rob won the battle to Golden Tooth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew that. I don't know if we knew this. Sir Stevon Frey died. I feel like we did know that in the
Okay.
battle. Who's the second in line? He's the eldest son of Lord Walder. So basically, what happens? We get this news that Rob won. Bran and Rickon are upset because he's like even deeper south. He's like even more committed to the war. He's not coming back. And
They're
the Freys
happy
are just
because
happy
they got closer to the line of
Exactly.
succession.
They're just they're closer in line of succession, exactly. So like Bran gets good news. Hey, you're winning the war, but he's just upset because he's not going to see Rob for a while. Kyle's kind of right on that. He said Rob's going to die, which he is. So
Yeah.
but he was going
was
more.
thinking,
Like, Kyle's going more off color. He's like, you're going to get juicy red meat. They're going to get gray
right.
spoiled meat. And he
Yeah,
kind of landed in the
no,
right place because the Greyjoys do come, but it's not just the Walders that they come for. They come for everybody, and the Walders actually make out pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
What does happen when the Greyjoys take over? Do the Waters become like
They
wards?
probably join his side.
Well, they
or
probably
something.
become wards to the Boltons then too, right?
I know
who
they're
do they
friendly with the
kill? Do they
Boltons.
kill 2 farmer boys?
Yeah, it's 2 random
Theon
farm
does.
boys.
Theon does. I
Ran
know the Walders
to
are
them,
friendly
not the-
with the
two of
Boltons. I
his
don't remember
bastards.
exactly how their standing is with Theon, but like once Ramsay takes over, they're on his side.
Yeah.
But Theon kills 2 of his bastards.
The farm man's bastards.
No. It's his bastards though.
Did Theon used to bang that girl?
No, one of them might have been his bastard.
Yeah.
I
He
love
was
the 2
bang-
farm boys.
He
kills
was
might-
banging the wife.
Yeah, the farm boys farmer's wife.
The
Yes.
farmer's wife.
Yeah, Theon was banging the farmer's wife. Yeah, so like there's thoughts where Theon thinks to himself that he might have like actually be a kinslayer because like one of those kids might actually be his.
Wow, that's wild.
I like that theory.
The only other, two other last things. Today is not the day I die. Jraijin says this, I think, a few times.
He knows he's dying. Yeah, he knows he's dying at the.
He's
tree,
still not
right?
dead in the books.
Well, we haven't seen him, and Bran's been eating red paste, so people think he like might be dead. And they're just like giving him parts of Jojen's
Why
body.
haven't we seen him in the books?
Because he's been the children of the forest
Turn
are
him
chopping
into
him up
paste.
and turn him into
Put him
paste.
in the
to
meat
feed Bran.
grinder.
What happened? So like they just lay out because I don't want to mix in TV show shit. They get to the tree.
And I think Bran's basically just chilling in the main room.
Do
with
zombies
Blood
attack
Raven.
them? Do zombies attack
Not
them
yet.
running?
Not yet.
Okay. So they
Bran's
go
just chilling.
down. They meet Blood Raven.
Yeah, Bran's just chilling there. The other ones are exploring because they can.
Okay.
Like talking to Children's Forest. Bran at one point crawls across like a bridge, underground bridge, and like sees a bunch of other skeletons in weirwood roots.
Right.
But then, like Jojen's just not around. Like all the Bran chapters we have, Jojen's just not there. He's like in
So
the.
Jojen got stabbed by a skeleton in the show, which
Is he
obviously
hurt?
doesn't
He might
happen
be.
here.
He might also be hurt. No, you're right. He might be hurt when they get to the tree.
Oh,
Do they actually get attacked when they get to the tree? I don't remember.
Cold
that at all
Hands.
in the
Yeah.
books.
Because that's when
Cold
Bran takes
Hands
over
helps
Hodor
him,
for
right?
the first time.
Cold Hands is like, hey, I'll save you.
Cold Hand probably helps him. Well, Cold Hand's been with them for a while, but towards the end of the journey, he might be like, "Yeah, go the last way yourself." When they
Oh,
get attacked,
Jojen's
he might
dying
show
of
up.
hunger. He's dying of hunger. He couldn't walk anymore. Pretty much.
I think they do get attacked right outside because Bran takes over Hodor. I'm pretty sure. Like Bran wargs into Hodor for like
It's in the
an
show.
actual like fight.
That's
No,
definitely.
It's in the
It's
book.
definitely
I'm
in the
pretty sure it's
show.
in the books.
You're
I'm
mixing
pretty sure
in
it's
the
in the
show.
books too.
I don't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure it's in the books,
We'll
too.
have to look into it.
I'm
But,
pretty sure Bran
but
wargs into Hodor.
I remember
in the show,
Jojen.
too.
They're like he's like starving, and like they're like couldn't walk.
They're all
and that's
starving,
when
yeah.
that's when Cold Hands is like, all right, I'll take you where you need to go. But Jojen was worse than most of them.
In the books, they're like starving, and Bran wargs into summer, and he sees like wildlings dead.
Right.
And then like he sees like basically a figure come up and it's assumed to be Cold Hands. And then Cold Hands brings back food and they're like, what kind of food is this? And he's like, don't worry. Basically it's like, don't worry about it. And Bran's like, fuck, it's people because I saw him just kill these people. And that's the only food we have. So yeah, they're all starving. Cold Hands is seemingly feeding them people. But I'm like 90% sure that right before like the chapter when Bran gets to the cave, something happens and Bran has to warg into Hodor to save the day in the books.
Yeah. I think you're right, Nels. It's just, I think you're right, too.
In the show, Jojen dies there. In the books, I think he might just get hurt or he was...
Jojen gets stabbed before that. They might drag him into the... I don't remember.
I think what you're saying, Jeff, is about the entire journey when they're starving. When they do have food, they're trying to get Jojen to eat. And he's like, no, I don't need to eat. This isn't the day I die.
Yeah.
Which is just like, dude, it's going to be the day you die unless you eat.
I couldn't remember, like you already said, we haven't seen him die. I don't remember what happened to him as they got to the tree. Because I know they get to the tree, and I know you said that they might be eating him.
I mean, we only have like 2 chapters of Bran in the tree, first of all. So he like gets to the tree, then there's like 2 more chapters.
I didn't read any Winds of Winter if he
I don't
was
think
there.
Bran's in Winds Winter, yeah. And the last thing I have is Lewin, basically just like super magic denier. Is this like some sort of like Maester conspiracy? Because like that's basically what Marwyn says at the end of book 5 or whatever book it when Sam goes to see Marwyn. He's like, yeah, the Maesters hate magic. Everyone tries to light this glass candle. So when he's like, that's kind of like a rite of passage to get your Valyrian link. So that's probably what Lewin's talking about when he said he tried his hands at spells, was lighting the glass candle.
Yeah.
Just like, is there like some like conspiracy within the Maesters to like keep magic away? Because basically what Marwyn tells him is that like Maesters are the ones that kill the dragons.
By locking them up?
Just by whether it's like, oh, we're the council and all these different people, we got them all to fight each other. Because that's how the dragons died, was from the Civil War. And they basically
just
said
fighting
like,
dragon on dragon crime.
Exactly. And pretty much what he says is, what Marwyn says is, they think it was the Targaryens who killed them or that they killed each other, but it was the Maesters. The Maesters like did it all. So it just makes me wonder, like when Lewin's like, there is no magic, especially when he studied magic. He knows Bran's been having these weird dreams because he's been given in these like sleeping droughts, right? Like you'd think that Lewin might be a little bit suspicious. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't think this is actually the case, but like maybe there's like a little cover up here, a little Lewin cover up, you know?
Do you think like he is suspectful of Bran being a magic person?
So I'm saying, if he's educated and Bran has been telling him all this shit for like a year now.
Do you see a lot in this like near-death experience? You are more prone to being magical? Or...
I 100% think Kyle was really close to the money with like the coma thing, right? Like this guy is coming to visit your mind. If you're in a coma, it's like a weakened mental state potentially,
more time,
right? Yeah, and it's just like when he can access you. And basically, I think we see like a bunch of in the first one. I think Bran sees a bunch of fallen. I forget what he says, like fallen dreamers or something like that. In the first Bran chapter, where the crow's like fly or die, and he's like falling towards the ground. He's like, I see a bunch of dead bodies down there of people who didn't do it. And I'm wondering if that is like jraijin, like people who actually like were in a coma and the Raven visited them and they just like didn't figure it out in time or whatever.
Right.
And they didn't actually die.
But they just woke up.
Yeah,
they just didn't want to reach out to the magic side.
Exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And that makes me think of like I think I mentioned this before, but we haven't seen him in a while, but Sweet Robin. I don't know if he had like a near-death experience, but there's something fucked up with that boy.
Yeah, but I don't know if he has powers. He
has an obsession with like fly. He has an obsession with like fly or die type thing.
Make him fly,
fly
mommy.
Die. Not fly or die, but like fly is die type thing for him. But yeah, that was it. The other thing was like Bran likes the Ravens Norkery, and we know that like he'll probably be warging ravens later on.
Yeah.
When he's like, when I like the Ravens Tower.
All right, so I just checked the synopsis for Bran's second chapter, and Den's dragons, they do get attacked by whites.
And he wars into Hodor.
I didn't read that far. I just read.
We'll get there in a year or 2 or 3 or 4
or 5.
Depends on if we start getting some 2 weeks. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Definitely check out the Discord for all the videos we're going to be posting this week. They will be in the spoiler section, so if you're new to the Discord, just reach out to me and I'll add you to that channel. We're putting stuff like that in that channel so that Kyle and people like Kyle don't get spoiled. But yep, be sure to check out the Discord and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening.
See you later, guys. Winter is coming.